Come on now, D. Start over. We've been away for a little while, so we are slipping. Please forgive us. We're going
Could you say hello, please?
over. I said, hey, hey.
Yeah,
You can't say hello and hey, hey.
But you said hey, hey while people was clapping.
Okay.
So yeah, we didn't hit it. We're a little bit off. Our timing is off.
Yeah, we're a little off. So
well, we've been on hiatus for a little while, so we got to get back together. So
all right, so let's do the clap. And now.
Hey, hey, Assholes and Opinions, the podcast. I am all your host. I'm here today with D and Bonez, and today we will be talking about how do you deal with failure. And I am going to ask Bonez to please start me off on this subject, as I've been away for some time, and I'm a little more rustier than I was before. So the floor is yours, Bonez, please.
All right. Hey, what's up, guys? This is some Rust-Oleum for your ass now. You know what I mean? We gotta knock that rust off.
Yo, if y'all want to know, his Instagram is on the screen, so y'all could check him out at Instagram if y'all want to know who he is. Everybody incognito on this particular station. Just put that out there.
Word. So I've been pondering on this subject for a little while, you know, and it's how do people deal with failure? How do you deal with failure? I know it's a pretty broad topic, but you know, whether it's career-wise, relationship-wise, friendship-wise, education, you know, just personally, how do you deal with it? Some people hold things in, take it out on other people, take it out on, you know, stuff like that. So I just had that question, so that's what, you know, we're going to talk about.
Okay, we're live on the podcast.
So unfortunately, we're going to take a pause for 1 second because we had some guests step in. You know, they're on the tour right now. But I'm pausing. It is what it is. I don't know no better. I'm learning. I didn't know.
Time out.
Time out. Hi. Thank you for coming. Hello.
How you doing? Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to our humble abode. So we're here on Assholes and Opinions.
The podcast. Hey.
So, you know, the podcast is dealing with people's opinions and, you know, whether you know, how you feel about it. You know, you could be the asshole about it or whatever. Now, this podcast, what's the beauty about it is no one is live, so no one's seeing each other. It's just going to be all audio to go with the video. And I think your son is here because my phone is ringing.
So go and get him. And how ironic it was that today's topic is how do you deal with failure? Because this episode is off to an epic fail.
So you know what? Matter of fact, we have someone in the building. Yep, I'm going to have him tell people right now. Yeah, pull up a seat real quick. He's on tour, right? So they're going to take like 5 minutes, right? Can I borrow them for 5 minutes?
Who's on tour?
They're on a tour.
Who are they?
They're just visitors.
They're just visitors, but what are your name visitors? Welcome.
Know.
Hello. Who?
Omar.
Nice to meet you, Omar. I'm Mo. Hamza, nice to meet you, Hamza. I'm Mo.
Yes. All right. Yeah, put these on.
Christian, I'm Mo. Nice to meet you as well. So this is just a very all over the place episode. And
the question we want to ask right now, can you hear me? Hold on. He's on mic number 2. Got you.
Yo, Bonez is here too, y'all. Hey, what's up? What's up, yo, Omar?
All right, so the question that, yo, Bonez, what was your question again?
How do you deal with failure?
Okay, so real quickly, in your life, in your struggles, first introduce yourself.
Greeting, I go by Zoe, Z-O-U-L.
Nice to meet you, Zoe.
Bless.
Now, real quick, because I know, you know, we don't have Zoe for a lot of time. So how do you deal with failure? Like when something don't work the way you wanted it to work and you failed, what is one way that you would deal with that?
Well, I don't believe in failure. So
elaborate.
I look at more of a struggle or a journey. And when one door is closed, another door is open. So it's all a learning experience.
Okay, so you and I are definitely going to be soul partners because I believe in looking for the light at the end of the tunnel instead of more darkness in the tunnel. So you flip it into a positive, most definitely. But give me an example of one situation that may have started off negative and that you were able to seamlessly flip it into a positive.
I don't know if it's seamless. It's still a process.
Okay.
But there's a lot of times where you envision something and you feel like that's a path I need to go. And now with my experience, the way I look at it is, if uh, if you start seeing a lot of resistance, that's already a sign that you just need to be liquid and kind of change path. Um, so there's a lot of examples, but one example that comes to mind, I was in grad school, and I had a full scholarship going to MBA at
Okay.
some point,
Okay.
and things weren't working out.
Okay.
And I eventually pivoted, and I went back to Morgan State.
Okay.
And it was more that whenever I went to Morgan, they showed me a lot of love, and the doors were open, and they actually wanted me to be there.
Okay.
So,
So
yeah.
now, Bones, with hearing him
Yeah.
give that type of example of how he deals with a failure, let me hear a comparison with you with an example of any type of failure you've experienced and how you may have either flipped it to a positive or wallowed in the negativity of it.
I don't think I wallow, but when how I deal with failure per se is self-reflection. Me, I look when things don't go the way I expected it, wanted to. I self-reflect instead of lashing out. I get more introspective on what did I do wrong? What can I do better? How could I fix the situation? Where to pivot from, and things of that nature. So I'm more self-reflective. I'm more, of that because yeah, I'm more self-reflective. So I just look at personally like what could I do more? I feel if I do fail, it's on me. That's how I carry myself. Everything, this is my life. I'm the CEO. I'm the head honcho. So if something don't go right, it's not no one else's fault. It's not the circumstances. It's me. I feel that I could do better, or I didn't do something correct, and I could change that. So I
All right,
just
I'm about to roast you just a little bit because remember when you and I spoke about this topic for some time and I told you it's very broad and we both
yeah.
agreed that it's broad and you just kept it broad. I want you to narrow down one specific incident, experience, anything you want to detail it to that you were able to flip it. Because I'm gonna use one. So today I have my son here, my youngest twin fella is here in the building, and he's a guest. So earlier today, him and I were having a conversation, and the conversation started to go left, kind of, sorta, in my opinion. So what I did was, instead of allowing it to keep going, because I'm a firehead, I'm a Scorpio, I kept trying to say to him, it's not that serious. Let it go. Let it go. At the same time, I'm acknowledging the fact that he's also experiencing his emotions, but I can't afford to let his emotions take me somewhere else because I am on a very, very, very personal journey to try to be mindful of the things I say and how I impact people. So I will cut you off.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut you off. I don't care who you are. I don't care how you take it. So that's how today I turned an almost failure into a positive. And that's what I'm saying. I want you to give me a specific subject.
Okay. One thing that I can say that I will say. All right. So being an entrepreneur, right? Me starting my
Okay.
business, Shakewell Juices.
Okay.
Um,
Shout out to Shakewell Juices, everybody. Bones is on the map. We have his Instagram on there somewhere. But yeah, go ahead, Bones. Sorry.
yeah, it's Shakewell Juice Bar on IG.
Shakewell, you put
So
Shakewell? If y'all look on the
yes,
screen, that's his commercial. These are his drinks. Hold on, let me put on let me put on my business voice real quick. Shakewell Juices, fuel your performance. Shakewell Juice Company, taste the power.
Okay, Bones, your turn again.
all right. Okay, thank you. So I started my business in 2021. During the pandemic, I started off. I had a lot of inspiration. I did everything. I created the LLC, created my logo, created the label, juice. I did everything correctly. I was hitting the streets. I was selling hand to hand, and I did that for about a year or two, and things just slowed all the way down. I started hitting roadblocks and trying to be a successful business. I had to learn business. I just knew hustle. I'm a hustler. I know hustle. I know how to get out there and get it. But in order to be successful entrepreneur, you have to know business. So that's where I hit a roadblock. And then once I start learning the intricacies of business, how to do a P&L, profit and loss, cost of goods sold, how much you're spending in terms of how much your product costs, things of that nature. So once I started learning the business, the hustle side kind of regressed. And then the pressure starts to mount, like, oh shit, I'm really in this. I invested. I was already at that point, 2 years in, I was already $15,000 to $17,000 in the hole. I already shelled out lines of credit, cash, all that. So the pressure starts to mount because now I'm not just hustling. I have to hustle smarter, which is learning business. So after that second year, I didn't do anything. I kind of regressed.
Okay.
I kind of got in my own head and I started to feel like I was failing. So I was in that state for like a year and a half. I'm very long. Sorry. So I was in that state for like a year and a half. And then one day I spoke to my friend D Darnell, and he was like, yo, you need to get out your shell. You know how to you got to be forward facing. You got to be the face of your product. So that inspired me to get out my shell and link up with Mr. H in the H House Studios. You know, the reason why I'm on this podcast because he was like, yo, you just got to break out your shell. You got to be that star that you know you are. And that's kind of how I'm in the process of dealing with it. So now to answer the question, that is the one specific topic that I've dealt with failure. I'm actually in the process of dealing with this so-called failure or pivot, and I'm working on it. So,
and with you meeting H and all of us here under the H House, this podcast as well, Assholes and Opinions, do you feel that you're making a very good turnaround out of your failure, or you still feel some of the heaviness of that initial failure?
The pressure as an entrepreneur, the pressure is always going to be there because I'm in this by myself. I don't have no partners. It's just me. You know what I'm saying? I do have an investor, which is my dad. He, the financier. He started this whole thing for me. So it's kind of like I don't want to let him down. I don't want to fail. What he worked hard for and have that snatched away. So the pressure is always there, but I am dealing with it in a way where I'm dealing with it. I'm just going through it. I don't get too down on myself. I actually was at I made some samples for Mr. H class at St. John's Rec last week, was it, or 2 weeks ago? Yeah, so that went well. So I'm slowly building my confidence back up in myself, so that way my business relies on me, so my business will flourish as long as I bring myself up. So yeah,
right. And I think it's a good thing that you're under the H House. Like myself, I came here to take podcasting classes, and when I met H, he informed me that he was good at doing podcasts and stuff. So him and I collaborated together, and he actually helped me to get my podcast off the ground. And as you guys know, I'm slow in coming with recording and stuff, and I'm still like not very comfortable with being on air and whatnot because life gets in the way and we don't really have a steady studio or anything to record from. So I kind of get a little, I don't know, down sometimes. But right now, me and H and Bonez and whoever else are all under the H House umbrella are trying to just make sure we just not put too much thought or too much whatever into the setbacks and just pick up and dust off every time. So every time I dust off and come back again, it's like I just started. I got the little pony legs or whatever, but once the momentum gets started again, I'm here. So thank you, H. Thank you, H. So we're having a little technical difficulties right now because, like I said, fellas in the house, and we can't hear him. He can't hear us. His mic or his headphones are not working.